A Google business profile for real estate investors or agents is one of the best ways to rank in Google fast and for free. It takes a little bit of work and the payoff is huge. So today, Mallory and I are going to be breaking down how to optimize your Google business profile. It used to be called Google My Business. So you have the best chance at ranking in Google and capturing the most leads possible. Okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you guys like a quick summary, and it's probably going to be a little bit underwhelming. And then we're going to get into the weeds and the details, and then we'll do our screen share and Q&A. So here's the 10-second summary. 1, create your Google business profile. I'll give you a link in the comments. It's free. 2, literally fill out everything that Google tells you to do. And then 3, get reviews and send people to your care website for the Google business profile. That's it. The cool thing is like, once you do this, Google tells you everything you need to do. There's no black magic. It's not nearly as mysterious of a rabbit hole as SEO can be at times. And they just tell you like, hey, fill out this box. You should do this. So yeah, it's pretty easy. I almost wish it were more complicated so we'd have more to talk about, but that's the end of the episode.
No, they even give you a little score when you're in your Google My Business where it's like you're 89% complete, keep going, right? They're wanting you to fill out everything as much as possible.
They do. And then they'll bug you with emails, and every time you log in, go into Google, they'll be like, hey, don't forget to fill this out. So they make it really easy. But let's get into it. So I'll do this. I'll put the link to create a Google business profile in the chat here. If you're on with us live. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the Evergreen Marketing Live Show. If you are listening to this after the fact, if you're listening to the audio version, the podcast, join us every week at 11 a.m. Pacific in the Facebook group. Just go to community.carrot.com, and this is where we do the interactive coaching call, the live Q&A afterwards. If you're on the podcast, you're missing that. But yeah. Anyways, so getting into it, the first thing you need to do is go create the Google business profile, and you want to choose the most specific category. So in the instance of a real estate investor, homebuyer, it's going to be real estate consultant. Okay. So real estate consultant, I haven't seen anything more specific than that. And a lot of the profiles I see ranking are real estate consultant. Okay. Next thing you want to do is, have the keywords that you're trying to rank for in the description and possibly in the name. So sell my house fast needs to be in the description. If you are in Sacramento, California, you're buying houses in Sacramento, you do want phrases like we buy houses in Sacramento, we buy houses fast for cash in Sacramento in the description. That's funny, Mallory. We were just talking about this before we went live. We were looking at a couple profiles and we're kind of conflicted about like, should we tell people to put more keywords in the business name? And I don't know. That's the only thing I'm not really sure on here because we see people rank both ways.
Yeah, well, and it relates to what we chatted about on last week's podcast, right? About building a strong brand. And there's definitely pros and cons to both, is having a more generic brand name that fits more of those broad phrases like sell my house fast Sacramento, but then you're competing with everybody else who has businesses similarly named, or having a very specific branded name that includes some of that, like Mallory buys houses or something, right?
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah. And also, so I don't know, we've seen people rank either like Keith, his business profile is kind house buyer, because you want your name, address, phone number to be consistent across all the locations you exist online. So Keith has done the right thing. He's being consistent. He ranks. And I don't know, for me, like a shorter business name stands out, like Kind House Buyers or Laurel Buys Houses. That shorter description to me stands out when everyone else is keyword stuffing the title of their Google business profile. So yeah, do what you will with that. Either way will work. Next thing. You got to use a physical address, and use a physical address in the place that you're trying to rank for it and in the place that you're doing business in. So we'll get people asked to say, hey, can I use a virtual location or like a shared office space? You can, but then you're going to be lumped in with other businesses. It's just not as easy. You don't want to do sorry, I might have got my vernacular mixed up. You don't want to do a virtual location like a UPS store. You don't want to do something like that because you also need to be able to verify it. And so you can do this with home-based businesses. I've done it for a business here in Roseburg. I've seen other investors do it. You just have to have like some sort of signage or maybe your work truck out front or business cards in your home, like something showing, hey, I live here and I work here. So yeah, even if it's your house, just use a physical address in the place you want to do business in.
Yeah. And I would say too, if you're doing business in multiple physical locations, like multiple cities, it's really important to have some sort of physical address in each of those places and have the separate listings in Google My Business set up. Because when I worked in solar energy, for example, we were in multiple different states and cities. We had one person on our marketing team who was basically just responsible for all that local SEO because we had to have so many different Google My Business profiles.
Okay. So we got a question. I see a question from Jim O'Connell. I'll answer that in a second. He had a question about different locations. We'll answer that in the Q&A. So physical locations. Another thing I've noticed in the pages that are ranking is they're adding this little thing called on-site services. Again, it's just one of the things that Google asks you, like, do you provide on-site services? Do you provide online appointments? Basically, the more, I don't know if this is the right word, but the more flexible a business is, the more things that they offer, the more likely they are going to put you over the other people. Like your hours are longer, you offer services in more locations, you have on-site services. So make sure to check that box. And then lastly, as far as filling everything out, like do what Google tells you to do, but also add your Carrot site. Like I still find Carrot members and I'm like, their website's not even on there. But like a lot of times, as soon as someone's sold on you via the Google business profile, they're just going to go, boom, they're clicking a website. They're looking at where can I find out more? And if that website isn't there when they're trying to make a big decision and do their research, they're going to go to somebody that has their website linked up. So yeah, don't want to make that mistake. So number one, fill everything out. Number two, out of the 6 things, number 2 is get reviews. So you want real reviews and you want them consistently. I say consistently because that's more important than just getting a bunch of reviews. A lot of times people will be like, I need reviews, and they'll go on a streak and they'll get like 20 or 30 reviews. They'll run a campaign, they'll get reviews from their clients. You want to get them consistently. So have a process to get them on the regular. Just every time you do a deal, get a review. And also the FTC, we shouldn't have to say this, but like, don't do fake reviews. The FTC banned this recently anyways. You can't pay people for reviews, even if they're real authentic reviews. You can't say, hey, I'm going to give you $20 if you leave me a positive review. You can't do that. You can tell people thank you in an authentic way, and you can give them a gift basket and say, hey, thanks for working with us. You can give them a gift card, fruit, whatever you want, and say, if you don't mind, in your free time, would you mind leaving us a review? But you can't straight up pay someone for a review. If I were doing this, I don't know what you think is, Mallory. What I'd be doing if I were a real estate investor doing deals in person, I would bring an iPad with me. I would pull up the Google, like leave a review on Google. You can get your link from the Google business profile. Super easy. And I would start a review and I would hit the voice type. I would set that down in front of them. And then I would pull out my phone and I'd say, hey, do you mind I'd get a review from them, but I wouldn't say a review. I'd say, hey, do you mind sharing your experience, what it was like working with us so that other people can understand what it was like working with us? Just kind of tell me about the process, what you expected, yada, yada. And hold my iPhone up. I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I've got my video testimonial, and everything they said in that video testimonial is now in the Google review. And then you say, hey, are you okay with leaving this review? Does this sound like you? And you're probably going to be like, oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Like, cause they just said it. Boom. Yeah. Post the review. Don't even ask them to type it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so smart. Speaking of when I was in solar, I think this is something that a lot of the really, on top of their game solar consultants would do, is like when they're there, everything's installed, they're getting the review right there where the homeowner is happy. Like whatever business it is, make it as easy as possible for people to leave those reviews and not have to remember to do it days and weeks later. We all have busy lives.
Yeah, exactly. Were the solar companies, were they doing a good job of were the reviews for the solar companies mentioning like the business name in them? You have any tips or tricks on like how to get people to say the business name when they're leaving a review, like the phrasing?
I think when you're right there, if you're like closing up the deal, putting all the last touches on everything, the homeowner or the client or whoever it is like super happy, you're right there with them. So I think it's a little bit easier in that situation to remind them, hey, can you just be sure to mention the specifics about the situation I helped you with, right? Like selling my house in foreclosure, and mention me and my company by name if possible, right?
Yeah, yeah. And also at the end, say we buy houses Sacramento. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, so get reviews consistently. We had a guy on our team, Brian, a while back. He was digging into Google business profiles, and what he found as far as number of reviews was he found around 30, 35 had diminishing returns. And so it made a big difference up until around 30, 35. Past that, didn't make as much of a difference. And that lines up with what I see in Google business profiles. But the key is get them consistently and regularly. Because even if you have a ton of reviews, but you haven't had any in a few months, Google's going to start to prioritize the ones who are still open and active doing business.
It doesn't make as much of a difference, but if you're comparing somebody with 35 reviews to somebody with 55 reviews, it's pretty clear which one you're going to look at first, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's done this on Amazon.
Right.
You're comparing how many reviews they have. So the SEO juice has diminishing returns at 35.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be, it can be one of those things that edges out that competition.
Right. Exactly. It's going to, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's going to edge out the competition. Yeah. So get them consistently.
Well, and speaking of reviews and that human eye on it, also responding to those reviews, right? Whether they're positive reviews and you want to thank them for the response and mention maybe some of those keyword phrases in your response, or even if you have a situation where a customer or a client wasn't completely thrilled, showing that humanity in your, response to them really helps showcase that trust for future potential people who are looking to work with you.
Yeah, and it makes it more believable and credible because, like, I don't know, maybe I just see this because I'm a marketer, but I'm like, do they have some auto reply turned on, which is becoming more and more common now. Companies just have like an auto reply responding to reviews. I'm like, okay, was this an actual human or was it not? I'm looking for that. Other people probably are too. The next two, these ones are easy. So add photos, upload photos of deals you've closed, properties you've purchased, maybe before and after photos of your flips, transformation photos, team member photos. You can do little profiles, but just add photos to show people what you do, where you work, what you do. What I see people do that doesn't really work well is like, oh, it's St. Patty's Day. Let me put a photo, like a stock image of a like clip art of a, what do you call it? A little clover.
Yeah, four-leaf clover. Yeah.
Yeah. Or let's do a shamrock photo and say, hey, happy St. Patty's Day, everyone, because that's just what people think about social media. Like, I need to post something, so let me post something. But you're giving people more context and making more believable where you do business and what kind of properties you purchased. So maybe you have a picture of like a home that was flooded or a fire damaged home, and you could upload a picture of that. I just saw one in Roseburg this last week. A Carrot member, an investor, bought a fire damaged home, posted on Facebook. That'd be a great post for his Google business profile. Hey, here's a picture of a fire damaged house we just purchased in Roseburg, Oregon. Can't wait to beautify this one and add some more value to the neighborhood. Just something like that, real quick.
Well, and also speaking of photos, if you have those happy customers or clients leaving reviews, ask them and share with them the value of them uploading their own photos along with the review. Right. So I know the importance of all of this. And so if it comes to, I've experienced a great experience with a local restaurant that I'd see doesn't have a ton of Google business reviews. I will go out of my way sometimes to take the pictures of the delicious food I ate and write a very descriptive review because I know it's going to help that local small business. Yeah. And I think when people have had a good experience with you and know how much that helps them, they're more willing to go a little bit out of their way to help you.
Yeah, exactly. And when they see that it's going to help someone, yeah, that's super important. Another one, this is probably the one I see done the least often is posting updates, posting updates to your Google business profile. So I'd say once you start your Google business profile, do 1 to 3 updates, do 1 to 3 posts. Kind of the same thing I was mentioning about photos where I guess before I was actually describing a post. So you want to have photos of your business, like of the actual physical location, of your logo, and of a few houses that you buy. But what I was describing was a post where it's text along with it and saying, hey, we just bought this property. So do that. Maybe if you're getting video testimonials, you can put those as posts like, hey, we just were able to help so and so that inherited this house. We helped them get it closed, yada yada. So if you're running any special offers or anything like that, or doing giveaways, those are good things to post. Just to tell Google that you're still doing business, you're still there. But yeah, do that. I'd say once you start out, put 1 to 3 of them. But after that, I don't know, maybe once a month, every couple weeks, I'd say at the most, because the reality is it just needs to be a little bit more than the person you want to outrank. Same as SEO. Like if someone's posting every day, I don't know anybody that is. Maybe post every day. I don't know. I got better things to do though. Okay, so those are the first 4 things. So to recap real quick, we got fill out everything, get reviews consistently, add photos, post updates. And the next one, this has nothing to do with the Google business profile itself, but build your citations. This is also going to help, because if you don't exist anywhere else online besides your website and Google business profile, Google's going to have a hard time putting together the pieces to know that that's you. So your Google business profile is a form of a citation. Other ones would be like Yellow Pages, Yelp, local directories, social profiles, which you can add your YouTube, your Facebook profiles to your Google business profile. And you should just make sure that you have good content on there. Anything else I'm leaving out, Mallory? Citation?
Yeah, well, and I think when it comes to some of those citations, especially the other places where people can leave reviews like a Yelp or even on Facebook, right, is when you have those happy clients or customers and you're encouraging them to leave the review, especially once they've already done the one, if you can just maybe gently nudge them to just copy and paste and post that same happy review on a Yelp in addition, or a Google Facebook page, right? So it's seeing that same review across multiple platforms.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know of any services that will like automatically distribute reviews to multiple ones?
There might be some. I am not 100% sure about that. I mean, there's definitely services, like we actually have our citation building service that will help you with making sure that your name, address, phone number information is on all of those different platforms. But as far as sort of like auto distributing the reviews themselves, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. If you're listening to this and you know of one, I've looked at other ones in the past and I haven't found one that I could recommend, but it's been a long time and tech changes. So if you have one, let us know and we'll share it up. But yeah, marketplace.care.com. If you want to build out your citations fast, we'll do, I think it's something like 40 or 50 citations for $350, I believe. We talked about it last week too. Okay, so you got your citations done. The sixth and the final thing, and then we'll jump into the screen share and Q&A, is add Q&A. A lot of people don't know about this, but I think it's the 3 little dots to the side of your Google business profile you can click on, and it's intended for prospects or customers to ask questions about your business so that you can answer it. But if you're thinking like a marketer, you want to answer the questions that they have before they even ask them, because your website, like when you launch a Bone Stock Carrot website, it does the same thing. It'll have the FAQ section. I would just pull those questions from your website onto the Google business profile. So like a good example of one here would be, do you charge a commission when you buy our house? I'm a homeowner. How do I get a cash offer? Something like that. What locations do you buy in? So yeah, whatever the frequently asked questions are, whatever objections people might have, answer those in the Google Q&A. But that's about it. As far like if you do all of those things, you're getting consistent reviews, there's a good chance that you're going to rank, especially in smaller markets. Yeah. Anything else I'm leaving out? Anything else you want to add, Mallory, before we jump into Q&A?
Yeah, I think that covered kind of the basic best practices, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, sweet. Well, everybody, we're going to jump into the live the coaching call, the Q&A. We're going to screen share and look at a couple Google business profiles so you can see what's going on here, give you some more tips. But yeah, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I saw Jim O'Connell, you posted one. We'll answer that. But that is the end of the podcast, and we will see y'all next week. Let's get into it. All right, sweet. We're in. Okay, so we got a couple questions here. Let me answer these. So Jim O'Connell's got the first one. He said, okay, since local rules meaning local is awesome. How do you attract to separate locations? So, and then his follow-up was Flagstaff and Surprise, Arizona, getting more leads for our rent-to-own site. So it's a good train of thought. I don't know how far away Surprise, Arizona is from Flagstaff, but if they're really close, like if it's if it's just a suburb or a town right outside of the major city, you probably wouldn't want to have separate locations for those. You would want to have, say, if your Google business profile is set up for Flagstaff, Arizona, then you would want to have Surprise, Arizona as a location that you serve in your Google business profile, and you would want to make that apparent. Unless, I think, Mel, we were talking about this before we went live.
Oh, wait, was I talking about when I worked at the solar companies and you have, areas that are very far apart and you might need multiple Google My Business. So say that like I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana. If I was also doing business in Houston, Texas, they're like a 5-hour drive apart. You might be serving both locations, but you ideally need to have physical addresses to be able to have separate Google My Businesses to really be able to rank in both of those places.
Yeah, exactly. And once you, let's say if you have a national website for buying houses, I mean, you could potentially do local Google business profiles, but you're going to want to have them under different names. And it's like a franchise, like UPS Store. If you Google UPS Store, it's going to say UPS Store Roseburg, and it's going to have its own phone number, its own address, its own page, which it might be able to be like a location page on your main Carrot site. You could probably do that. But you can do it if you're national. It's going to be a lot more work and things to keep track of. You want to have tracking phone numbers and things set up. But yeah, I'd only do that if you're doing nationally, or maybe you're in Texas and you have like Dallas and San Antonio or something like that that are pretty far apart. But yeah, Jim, don't worry about that for local. Okay, a couple more questions. Chris Ty said, for Google My Business, we found that we ran out of room to add photos. What? You're doing things right, man. He said, do we delete old ones and upload new ones that to show that we are updating? Yeah, I mean, I would take out the least sexy photos. I don't know, the photos that are least descriptive of what your business does. So if you have an old one, it's like if you have multiple logo photos in there or a team member, maybe take out one in favor of like a kitchen remodel that you're working on recently. But I don't know. I haven't had that before. If you run out of room for photos, I think the posts are more important. But yeah, you could try it. I don't know. Does it allow customers to upload their own photos?
Well, that's what I was saying. If you have happy customers or clients who are leaving reviews for you, so I know Chris does construction, right? So maybe you just did a bathroom remodel for somebody and they're going to leave a review. Encourage them to take a few photos even before and after and add those with their review, because it'll be associated with their own review, but it'll also kind of get grouped into the overall business profile photos. You can really see this if you look at something like a local restaurant or cafe or something where people are often uploading photos of the food that they ate. You can kind of see how this works in action.
Yeah. Yeah. So you do that. It's like Thai food. People want to see what the Thai food looks like. Let's see. Matt Schaefer, does Google My Business let you upload videos? I believe it does. I think there's a limit on it, like 60-second limit. I haven't done it in a while, but you can upload short videos. You could do like a really quick introductory video. Hey, this is Matt Schaefer with Matt Buys Houses. I just want to introduce myself. Thanks for checking out the page. Make sure to visit our website. We help people in XYZ situations in XYZ locations. Something like that would be cool to see on a Google Business profile. He said, or a thread of photos, say from a networking event. Yeah, you can do multiple photos at the same time. Let's see. Does the FTC ruling factor for reviewing friends or family's businesses to where you are more so reviewing on character of the person or people in community? Does the FTC ruling affect like character-based testimonials? No. It's kind of a gray area.
Yeah, I have it pulled up right now. So it's on like ftc.gov. I don't think it specifically states that, but I have seen some people within local SEO circles sort of saying that it implies that around those kind of general, reviews from family members who haven't worked with you directly. I would say if you want to stay completely within the good realm of the FTC, you probably need to be focused on people that you've actually directly worked with and helped within your business and be focusing on those reviews. And honestly, like that's what other potential clients or leads are going to be looking at anyway, right? We could all ask our mom to add a good review for us, but everybody's, family members are probably going to say something nice about us.
Yeah, I've done it. I've done it. I got reviews from my mom and dad on like side businesses and whatever. Like you got to do what you got to do. But then I don't know, I'd say once you get a healthy amount of reviews in there, you can take out the old ones that really aren't adding much value or that are kind of vague or generic because they kind of get glossed over anyways.
In the past, when we've talked about reviews, we've had people ask pretty often, like, hey, if I haven't done any deals yet, how do I get testimonials? How do I get reviews? And one of the things we would lean into or suggest is get some character reviews. If that strategy needs to change now, you can always get reviews or testimonials from people you've helped. Maybe you didn't close the deal, but they used information. You serve them another way and get a review on, hey, how was the conversation that I had with you on your housing situation helpful? If so, would you leave a review? And they can leave you a review that's very relevant, very fair. No one's going to be upset about that. Is, hey, Brady Buys Houses is very knowledgeable. He gave me lots of options. I ended up going a different route, but I couldn't have figured it out without him.
Yeah.
That's an amazing review, even though you didn't technically do business.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I forgot about that. Like agent referrals. Go ahead, Mallory.
Well, and I was going to say too, so if we're talking about at the beginning, you mentioned how probably the most relevant type of business for most of our members is to say that you're a real estate consultant, right? Like that's the category you're probably going to be putting your business under. And as a consultant, you might not only be helping to buy or sell a house, you might be advising on a situation. And so that might be something that you could easily work with somebody, give somebody advice on early on, even if you haven't done that deal yet, and then get a legit review from somebody you helped.
Yeah, exactly. One of my, just as a consumer, one of my favorite reviews is exactly what Brady was talking about. Like I'll be looking at Mechanics, Roseburg, Oregon, and I'll see a review where someone's like, hey, these people turned me away because they said they weren't the best person for a job, but they mostly specialize in XYZ. I love that trustworthy, like that's super transparent. I'm like, okay, you've gained my trust now. Now I know what they're experts in. So yeah, I love reviews like that as a consumer. All right, let us know if you have any more questions. I'm going to pull up my screen and share it real quick. Give me a second here. Get my bearings. Y'all know the pain of trying to manage like 7 different windows on a MacBook on a laptop is like, whew. Okay, thank you, Braden. Okay, so a friend of Kara, Aaron from Laurel Buys Houses, reached out a couple weeks before we did this episode. Hey, she said, would you mind doing an episode on Google business profiles? So we said, yeah, we're doing that. And she was trying to figure out how to get ranked over other people in Sacramento. And before the podcast, Mallory and I were going back and forth like, man, Aaron's doing all of the right things. So I want to show you an example of what it looks like when someone does all of the right things. If I Google sell my house fast Sacramento, what pops up? Well, let me just go back a page so you can see. I'm going to Google it and then it'll come down here. Typically, unless you Google someone's business name, like if I Google the business name, it'll pop up right here on the right-hand side of the screen. But if I'm like most homeowners, I'm just going to search sell my house fast Sacramento. And then this is going to catch my eye, or maybe they're on like Google Maps. But if I click on this, she's getting outranked by... Oh, well, one, these agents like PPC ads are popping up. So I'm not an authority on this. So I don't even really want to speak much to it. I don't have a lot of experience with this, but if you are an agent or you have a license, you can run Google PPC ads and get Google screened or Google verified. So that might be something worth looking into if you're a hybrid or you have a license. So you could show up top if you want. I don't know the cost behind that. So there's sellers agents, but then the only ones that are outranking her are ones that have exactly 5 stars, which I don't know, Mallory, you and I were talking about, like sometimes 5 stars isn't believable. You're looking for like the 4.9, 4.7.
Right. Well, and when you've only got four total ratings, like the priority home buyers right there, it's easier, with a smaller number of reviews to have perfect scores.
Yeah, exactly. So they have a little bit more reviews, or excuse me, they have a higher rating. But Laurel Buys Houses, let's pull this up and see what they're doing. one thing I noticed Laurel Buys Houses doing, and also Priority Home Buyers are doing, which we didn't even mention, is that they're putting they're putting text in the main image that they're using, which Google is looking at images to see what's in the image besides just the alt text or the description. And so we buy houses as is, no repairs needed, and they've got another image with the actual logo in it. Google's noticing those things. So that's not really like that one thing is not going to move the needle. It's more of like a helpful thing or best practice. But Laurel Buys Houses is doing that too. They have text in the photos, in the primary photos. So if we look at Laurel Buys Houses, they filled out all the things. So look at, we got open 24 hours, 25 plus years in business, serve Sacramento, get reviews, phone number, website. Services. So this is the category that I was talking about. They've got real estate consultant, and they've got the most important services listed first. So home buying and sales, home staging, luxury property buying and sales, new construction. So the fire damaged.
I did notice that some of those other the other listings had some different services listed. So it might be worth looking, if you're feeling like you're getting outranked, kind of comparing exactly what is it that is different about that profile versus mine, and just going down a list of, is it, that they have a different number of total star ratings? Are they including different services that maybe Google thinks are more relevant for this particular search?
It looks like these are mostly agent focused appraisals, buying agent services, commercial property.
So there's I see foreclosed property sales, right? Like that's like a very, very specific one for real estate investors.
Yeah, I would say that their services are a little bit more dialed in. So yeah, it's probably something worth looking at.
Because even so, when we were looking at the services on Laurel Buys Houses, one thing that I noticed, if you scroll, so there's fire damage. You see fire damage.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I've talked about in some other coaching calls and educational places. But if you just Google search fire damage right now, you're going to see a wide variety of different topics. We're going to see stuff about fire damage house. We're going to see stuff about like fire damage remediation services, right? You also will see things about fire damage in role-playing games. And so fire damage by itself might not actually be conveying enough meaning specifically to fire damaged homes. So maybe there's opportunity to like tweak that slightly and make it more specific to exactly the way that you help people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice. So take out this one. Definitely take out the duplicates, be more specific. And then I would say you don't want to have too many services because it can kind of muddy the waters for Google and for people. They're like, do they really do everything? If they do everything under the sun, it might not be believable. But yeah, put your most important services first. Let's see, what else are they doing? Reviews. They've got reviews. So if you notice, if you look at the left-hand side, this is why Mallory and I were talking about how it's important to talk about the location, how you help them, and business name in the review. If you can get them to do that, the seller to do that. Because look at over to the left, it's saying, I got my cash offer in a timely manner. And Google is bolding any of the keywords that I typed in. I typed in sell my house fast Sacramento, and Google is trying to find, see they highlighted or bolded selling. Yeah.
Right. And you can see it too on the Laurel Buys Houses. We're under reviews where it had some words. So it's got heart, hoarding, honest information. Do you see that right there?
Oh,
so those are words. That's this sort of entities stuff that we talk about sometimes, right? Is that those are the specific words that Google is pulling out as commonly found within reviews for Laurel Buys Houses. Now, heart, we know that they have a lot of heart, they care, but heart can also mean a lot of different things, right? It can mean the shape, it can mean a physical heart in a body, right? We don't see a lot of people talking about selling a house, cash offer, things like that. So if we had more of that in some of those reviews and the responses to the reviews, it could help to sort of convey that meaning to Google.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let's see, updates. So Matt, you were asking about video updates. Laurel has one. It's a 45-second video. It's a testimonial they just uploaded 3 weeks ago. And it's a captioned, just like cell phone video testimonial. Boom. Helped a couple move out of state. Real quick and easy. Can send that off to a video editor and have them knock it out. Put it up as a testimonial. Even got hashtags in there. Oh, and then look, the learn more button goes directly to the website. LaurelBuysHouses.com/reviews. More reviews. and an opt-in form. So if I go back, yeah, more video testimonials. There's an image testimonial. They just made an image. You could do that on Canva in about 5 minutes. Photos. Yeah, this is good. This is great.
Yeah. So again, I'm noticing some things with just some of the text descriptions that are added with these videos. I think there's still some opportunity to say some things in a just slightly more, like that one's actually really great. We buy hoarder homes in any condition, overwhelmed by too much stuff, right? But I saw some other ones where it's like, we helped you with your house versus we helped you sell a house in foreclosure or something a little bit more specific.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. We'll look at photos and then I'll go back to the questions. Looks like people have put in a couple of their Google business profiles. We'll check them out. I'm just wondering how the heck, Chris, how did you hit your limit on photos? You must be cranking because Laurel's got a ton of photos in here. Lots of text ones too. This is good. Yeah, this is what a really well optimized Google business profile looks like. Yeah. And see what I was saying about it's not keyword stuff. Do we have Laurel buys houses or the other ones have like a bunch of stuff in them? I don't know. It's not necessarily right or wrong, but from an SEO perspective, like your name needs to be consistent with your website and other profiles. Okay, let me go back to the questions real quick. Let's see. Jim said, is there a checklist for setting up a new Google My Business? There is. It's just within Google Business. So once you do it, it's just within Google. Yeah. I wouldn't put together a separate checklist just because Google is more accurate on telling you what to do, and it's all inside their platform.
Yeah. And they actually, I have access to my mom's business and I'm looking at hers right now. It'll show a little profile strength. If I'm looking at this on my mobile device, right, where it's like right now, my mom's is at 85%. I know that there's some things I need to update on her Google My Business, and you're trying to get to 100%, right? So it'll kind of guide you through that when you're logged into your Google My Business account.
Yeah, nice. All right, let me share my screen again here. J Rod, looks like Jose Rodriguez. He said, "What do you guys think about my Google business profile? Let's check it out." Okay, so I Googled J Rod Properties, and your Google business profile is popping up. At least I hope it's this one. It's a pretty unique name, which is great. That's what we were talking about last week. Like, pick a name that's going to make everything else easier. Because there's probably not another J Rod Properties, and hopefully this is a Carrot site. Let me scroll to the bottom here. Oh, lead propeller. Uh-oh. We got problems now. Just kidding. Let me see. Oh, it is a lead propeller site. Interesting. Okay. That's all right. We'll still help you out. We'll still check it out here. But the good news is you're ranking. Okay. So there's some opportunity to move over to a Carrot site. Yeah. Some of the conversion elements baked into Carrot versus lead propeller, like this form, is a little bit more cumbersome. Yeah, there's a little bit of conversion optimization you could do on the website by switching over to Carrot, but yeah, there's some other things you're doing right at the website. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm just looking at lead propeller sites. All right, so let's check this out. Got the Google business profile, got 3 reviews. So you started getting reviews. That's good. Got real estate consultant. That's good. Let's see, is the website linked up? Yep. Okay. Directions. You have the products, which is good. We actually didn't talk about that. I forgot about that. That's something you can do. Yeah. So the different services you offer, different products, you can add those in here. Cash home buyers. You have your profiles hooked up, which is great. Jose offered me a fair price.
Love
what do you
that
see,
fair
Mallory?
price? The fair price, somebody mentioning that in a review. Great.
Let's see, view all Google reviews. They mention your name in here. That was a very rough shape.
So I love that you're responding to the reviews. I do think that there's opportunity in your responses to maybe weave in some of those keyword phrases or your location to kind of help build up that, that language that Google is seeing that's associated with your company. So saying, our pleasure, thank you for the opportunity to serve. Maybe it's thank you for the opportunity to help you sell your house in this distressed situation or something like that, right? Or help you sell your house in Madera, California.
Yeah, that's good. Other than that, it looks like you're doing a lot of the right things. Let me see what you got for photos. Let's see. Yeah, there's not bad. I would maybe try to find a way to clean up one of these. I would maybe pick like, you've got 4 of them that are like just have your branding on here or text. It's a little confusing as to me as to which one I should pick first. So like this one, like what I would do if this were me, I would take out about from here and I would put this J-Rod Properties home buyer up top and then have like points 1, 2, or 3, like 3 bullet points on how you can help people, kind of like this. But these ones are kind of a little bit too similar. They're kind of competing. So I would maybe like have a graphic designer clean this up a little bit more. There's just a lot of text going on, but other than that, it's not bad. It's definitely better than just a logo or just a picture of a house. Yeah, these are great. Yeah, I think you're doing all the right things, Jose. Let's look at one more before we wrap it up here. See if we have any other questions. Let's see. Where was it? Somebody was just asking.
I saw one other in Facebook by Mary Buys Houses.
Yeah.
Like it's in Naples, Florida.
Let me just Google it. See. Oh, I already had it pulled up in a separate tab. Is that what it is?
You're right. It is Mar. I said Mary. I added an extra Y.
Mary or Mar?
M-A-R, the way you had it.
It is Mar. Mar Buys Houses. I don't see a Google Business profile for this. Let's see. This is not a carrot site. I don't know if this is the one. I don't see. Am I Googling that right? Mar Buys Houses? Okay, here.
That's how it was typed on Facebook.
We have a Mary Buys Houses. Naples, Florida.
That's correct.
Let's see.
Florida cash home buyers is another one that comes up when I type it in with Naples.
No.
That is a carrot site.
Yeah, let me see. Let's try Mary. We're going to try one more thing. Yeah, I'm not seeing it pop up. I can't give any recommendations. Maybe it's not created yet. Huh. It's okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing one. Anyways, yeah, I think that's about it. I don't see any other questions, but we got to do a couple of reviews. But yeah, that's what it looks like to do all the right things. Anything else you would add, Mallory?
Just stay on top of it, right? Make sure that everything stays up to date, that you've got those reviews coming in regularly, that you're responding, that you just don't just set it and forget it, but that you're kind of grooming, paying attention to keeping everything nice and tidy and up to date.
Yeah. Do a post every couple weeks, once a month. But yeah. All right, everybody. That's all we got for today. Thanks for throwing in the questions and keeping this interactive. I love getting to chat with y'all and answer questions. It makes it a lot more fun than just being up here talking. So thanks for joining us live. We appreciate you taking some time out of your day. If you have any topics you want us to cover, let us know. Either shoot me a message on Facebook, drop it in the Facebook group. Let us know what you want to learn about. We're down to cover pretty much anything under the sun of marketing. Okay, anything website SEO related, we're down to talk about it. So let us know. Next week, we're going to be talking about YouTube SEO, YouTube Optimization 101. So best practices for naming videos, titling, descriptions, thumbnails, all that sort of thing. So that's going to be a fun one. But yeah, anyways, thanks for hopping on, and we will see you all next week at 11 a.m. on Thursday.